Chaotic Bot, goodbye. Salutations, I just got here. What project is he working on that is refactoring into tiny pure functions? It's, what you see here is a little remote. It's, I use Pusher to send messages to a streaming server there. So if you look at what I'm doing here, like I do a send an OBS remote updates message where I request a scene, and then I request a scene here, which in this case is a desk, and when I run the code, it will switch to this. Chaotic goodbye. Oh, nice, very good meta. Yeah, you'll be seeing that a lot coming up, honestly. It's right. Plateri says, if encryptor has state, then encrypt isn't yet a pure function. Yes, it is a pure function because it doesn't really matter if it has like create some state internally. What with purity means that we mean that it has referential transparency, like that we know what is going in and we know what is coming out. Like it's not accessing anything like on the file system or some weird thing outside. So the trait of a pure function is that if you send two variables in, you will always get a certain value out. And this is not true if it accesses something on the file system or on the network, because then you're relying on something out there. But a pure function, it will always return the same thing. Ryoku, thank you so much for subscribing and using your Prime for this channel. It means a lot. It means a lot. Didn't have to do that, but I'm so thankful. Anti-pixelated points out another way of explaining it is that a pure function call can be replaced with its value. So if we, this thing here, like this will be a certain value, we could const val, and then I'll just paste this in here. We'll console log this out, val, boom, 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 floop. Oops, since it's not defined, we need to do this a little bit later. Let's work. There we go, hop. And now we can just do that. And get that out. And it will still work. Let me actually, yeah, that's a little bit dumb because we'll do desk. Something like that. Whatever. I'm just making like fiddling around here. The point being is that if we pass in the same secret and the same scene, we'll always get this particular string, like deterministically through the ages, will never change. So that's what a pure function is. RasumK, honestly, I think you're making a mistake by creating a new encryptor object every time you call the function. They must have made it object-oriented for a reason. Okay, first of all, you are severely giving object-oriented people too much credit. Like, there has been, like, do you know that everything is in Java? Like, everything is an object. Like, it has to be made a class. Like there was, and this was taught in universities. Like the insanity that goes around, like the dogma that goes around, like object-oriented programming is absurd. That said, you are good at being skeptical. So let's actually have a look at this thing. Let's see, where do we have the browser? Simple encryptor, GitHub. Is this the thing? Yeah. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. Index. So it creates a hash here, it updates a key, creates a digest. It's hard to tell how expensive this is, but I mean, since we are just decrypting one time, it will be exactly the same result. And here's the actual encryption. So what we have here is, yeah, it will save this thing, the crypto key, between encryptions. So if I don't know how expensive this operation is, but this is theoretically what we are saving. That's all the performance it does. For fun, you can check this. Let's do perf test. Oops. Const crypto. How do you do this? What, remember? Acquire crypto. And you know, like just some key here. How do you do this again? Console.time. Is this available in Chrome? Oh, or in Node? I'm just gonna call this create hash. A node perf test. Dang it. Nothing happened. Time end. Thanks. Yeah, so 1.6. Let's do this a couple of times. So like these are 6 times. Oh, so it seems like it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah. I think it seems like it's very negligible. Because as I add more functions, like it really doesn't, the call doesn't seem to become more expensive. It seems to do some kind of caching anyway. I think that I think that what they do here is a speculative optimization, because it seems like Node is doing this optimization under the hood anyway. But either way, we're just using it once, so it doesn't matter. ResMK, thanks a lot for trying it out. Anxiety gone. Yeah, it's performance is like it wouldn't have mattered either way. It's like performance. You should have performance anxiety in the profiler instead. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Let's do the trigger thing here. Const trigger, and do like client we're just gonna call it secrets here. And we're gonna call secrets, and we're gonna call this channel, and we're gonna call this event, and we're gonna call this message. Okay. So now we have a trigger function here that we want to do this thing with. Boop. And we're gonna initialize client here. Something like that. I have to make the font a little bit smaller. Zoom out. AP4 TV. Hi, I rushed from the gym to watch your video live. Holy God, I'm super late. Yeah, but you're actually just arriving at the meet, which is a little bit problematic because we have like 3 minutes left. I'm probably gonna go a little bit over time here just to actually get some value out of this. It's just a little bit. We really need to actually show some of this this extraction, otherwise it's too embarrassing. All right, let's see this trigger, and then I'm passing in the secrets. I'm gonna pass this in here. Gonna pass in request scene, and then the encrypted thing here. Okay, let's see that. Yep. See if this still works. Do stuff. Oh wait, I need to change this to desk. Come on, let's see. No, didn't. See here. What could I have done wrong? Oh wait, I'm like too much copy pasting. So you see here that I'm using this from the main. So we're gonna have that in there. Now it might work better. No. Client front says, you're not using the parameters. That's a good point. Might be the problem. Client front is always so good. These good here. Mix. Okay, let's try now. Will it work? No, I'm still making some mistake. It's double encrypted. Fantastic. Fantastic point. Message. Anti-pixelated. Thank you for pointing out that it's double encrypted. Oh, there we go. It works. It works. It's back to working. Refactoring works. Boom. Okay. Stephen, so secure. Jaywiz says, client anti-pixelated. Client front saves the day, and with anti-pixelated with the assist. Brilliant. Okay. So now let's see. Now I'm actually gonna do some. Let's make. I want to make a function that says const trigger desk scene. We're gonna do and desk, and then we're gonna have like a const trigger coding scene. So this is, I really like working this way where I create duplication before moving it. And I'm gonna do trigger the desk scene. Let's see what happens here. Bang, fail. Yeah, we need to trigger coding scene because I can't really clear it. Okay, cool, that works. Jay was in space. I would love to take these functions and make a front-end mission control tool, for sure. Okay, let me switch back to the scene by triggering the coding scene. And we're back, thank you. Oh, I love it. ClientFront was so fast with suggesting the change. So fast. Okay. So let's now look at a little bit of the duplication we have here. So let's have a look at. I'm gonna. I want to like the secret is duplicated here. I think I'm kind of want a. How many, like ClientFront asks how many of these functions do you plan for? I'm gonna like just go deep, man. I'm gonna just see how far we can go and until this starts being not useful. So let's see, like and just like look at it. Is this sensible or not? So with secret perhaps. And then we're gonna do, we're gonna hard code the secret in here. Crypt, and data. There we go. We're gonna curry that in a little while, but so now we can just do that, and get rid of this. See what we get here. JWiz in space says curry as a new term for me. Yeah, that's very good. That's excellent, and I'm gonna look at that today. Perfect, still works. So this pattern here that we have where we're just like adding on a variable, sort of like this first here is, this is a pattern that you see in functional programming a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull in Ramda because it has like a curry function. A curry function is not particularly hard to write, but since we're over time, I'm not gonna spend time doing it. Stefan says, trigger request scene would be a useful function, hard code the channel and event. Excellent point. You know what? I'm gonna actually do that first before we go into the currying thing with Ramda, to be honest, because that's a better next step. So let's do const trigger request scene. Stefan suggests. And then we basically hard code these things in here. And we also gonna hard code this thing in. We're gonna call this scene name. Something like that. And now we can change this to this, something like this. What do you think? Starting to look rather interesting, this, right? Yeah, and now like these, like we could be, and now you see like these constants don't make a lot of sense. It's better to like just inline these now. Because now these functions sort of become the constants. Line 8 has a missing something. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kleinfreund and Jotl. Alright, so let's see, like, does this even still work? Trigger coding scene. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm changing this to trigger desk scene. See if this works. Yes, it does. It does, thank you. Okay, so we're back. Can we fiddle around with this even more? I think that this is a little bit, the trigger requesting is quite big. Because, and also it's concerned with a lot of things, or like 2 things now. Can we make it concerned with just one thing? Because it's kind of trigger requesting, so we kind of like send. Because I want to somehow break apart these encrypted, the encryption and the trigger here. Feels like we could, like, this could be composed somehow. I'm gonna do like, try to get this away first. Like, I'm gonna call this like trigger requesting encrypted. Not really the best name, maybe, but and yeah, this should. I'm a little bit uncertain if we should call this encrypted C name. Let's do that for or let's leave it like that. So I'm gonna do this trigger request scene encrypted, and I'm gonna try and get the desk scene. Cool, it still works. Kleinform says, I think passing the result of a function call in another function call could be seen as a code smell. So you see, like, are you referring to this thing? The fact that we are passing it like this. This seems like it could be it seems like this could be composed, right? I'm thinking about like composing these a little bit better, but for now I'm gonna start currying these things, because this thing here we could just I'm gonna just curry this thing. I think we can do this, and now that we have that, we can simply get rid of this. I think this works. Hey, it did. Woo! Right? Let me switch back to the code, because that is some magic if you haven't seen currying before. So let's have a look at this. So before, this means like that currying. Oh, does this even look sensible to you? So currying here, can you show me? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Currying here, it's gonna take this function here, and then it's gonna create a new function which we can kind of like gradually call with new arguments that we need. What is even happening now? Oh God. I've destroyed everything. Are we back? We're back into sanity. And that means that we can do this thing here where we call encrypt with just the first argument, with the secret. And that will give us now a function that kind of waits for its second argument. So then we can go like encrypt with secret and just get the C name. So that's why this is what it looked like before, but we don't need this with curried functions. We can just like do away with this. Yeah, and the pixelated points out that like the functional explanation of this is because compose function blah 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 is the same as function given. Yeah, and I'm sure that there are some people in the world that understands these. I don't. I just become super super confused by it. Kleinfront says, I'm not sure I like that kind of abstraction. No, me neither. It's a little bit interesting, because this is one interesting thing about this is that this is native in Haskell. Every function is curryable, so you don't need to. This is just because a limitation in JavaScript that this is an abstraction, it's an abstraction in Haskell too, but it's a native abstraction. Jay was in space says anti-pixelated. You just brought back all the high school algebra to me. And anti-pixelated said, yeah, it's a little bit like that. It's actually it's very algebraic. And when we see things like this here, sort of like in the same way as when you see a function that is like this, where it's just like we're adding one argument on top of another function, then it means like here's an opportunity for currying. When we see something like this, where we call another function and its result is passed into another function, then that's an opportunity for composing. So I think, or in Ramda, I like pipe. I think that this is what we're gonna do with piping. So I think that I'm gonna do R. Now let's do compose, because compose is a more basic thing. What I don't like about compose is that you have to do it in an inverse order. I think you do like this. Please help me if this is wrong. Okay, let's see if this breaks. No, dang it, something. The data argument must be blah, 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 blah. Shit. I messed something up. Let's go back. All right, we're back to it working. Okay, let's comment this out and try to compose it. Encrypted, and I'm gonna do Ramda. I'm gonna try to use Ramda pipe instead, because I think I do. Hey, Antipixelated has given us the solution. Oh, was this what I did but inverse? Let's see. No, do stuff. Oh god, it works! Thank you, Antipixelated. That was amazing. It's amazing. So let's go back to, sorry for not showing the code. Back to the coding scene. Let's have a look at this. I think that we can afford a little bit of editor font. There we go. Gonna collapse this trigger here so that we get a little bit more space. So now I think that we're getting close to some kind of functional optima. Yeah, that was the order. So compose, like I think that compose is a little bit annoying because you have to do it in the inverse order. Like I like pipe because it flows a little bit. That means that it flows a little bit more like English, like left to right, sort of. I wonder if people that are from Arabic countries are more comfortable with the compose. Let's see if does this work now. Yeah. Robert Tables says that pipe reads more naturally, like telling a story. Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's a good thing. I think programming should not read like English, because English is not a good way of programming, but it makes sense for programming to sometimes read like a story, because it's natural for humans to parse stories. It's just how our brains work. And programming languages are designed for humans to read, not computers. Kleinfront says, could you write the composed pipe and the regular version side by side so people can compare? Yeah. So have a look at this. So you see, like, this is the pipe version. I'm gonna write the compose version. And here is the plain version. There you have it. Robert Table says, I think that it lends itself to group communication more easily. I mean, if you think about the aggregate time we spend reading code versus writing code, going a little extra mile for that clarity is a service to your team and your future self. Antipixelated points out that if you carry trigger on line 19, then trigger request scene can be a partially applied trigger. Biscuit says, my comfort zone just packs its bags and left. Sorry about that. Let's see. Trigger request scene. Oh, yeah. Now I see what you mean. So let's carry trigger 2. And then we can remove that. Boom. There we go. This is a little dubious because now it's not. No, it actually isn't all that dubious. I was about to say that it's when we remove arguments like this, sometimes it's just like not obvious what it is that we're passing in here. But due to the way that trigger request scene is named, it's actually sort of clear. I'm gonna move trigger up here so that the order is sort of correct. You're free. I try to not use rcurry because it does weird stuff sometimes. Yeah, I know. Like I feel a little bit the same. It's sometimes like sometimes I accidentally use it on functions I haven't created myself, and then I forget that they have some extra argument somewhere along the line, and there's some magic going on, and things become messy. It's not completely idiomatic to JavaScript. I think it makes more sense. Probably makes more sense in Haskell languages. Biscuit says, "Can you post the code somewhere so that I can wrap my head around it?" Yeah, hang on a bit. I'm gonna post this on the gist for you. I really need some way of like gradually sharing code with you, fine people, as we go along. It'd be good if I could just save and then it just pushed it to some little, I don't know really, carrying etc.js. There we go. There, pasted. Intellect Devourer. FFF, why are you currying if you pass the params together in a call? What are you referring to? Which part are you referring to? Client front says, so the pipe compose code is relatively straightforward for me, but personally curry is too funky for me. Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly you should just try to write the curry function yourself. It's otherwise it will be a little bit too magical, like all functional programming. Like it's just like monads or promises to me, was just like this scary garble, and it's until I actually built them myself. But it's not always clear. Intellect Devourer is as like you carry trigger but then pass it all the params. No, we don't. The last param here to trigger is the scene actually. So the scene name. And that's the thing is like I don't think that necessarily trigger becomes better when we carry it. The message here, like this is the message. Because I think that in this case it might actually be a bit clearer here to do this. But it's, but I don't know, like this was not, like I don't necessarily like encourage this kind of programming. I just wanted to do it like to push as far as we could, and then look at what the code that we have. And it's kind of like I think it's a kind of cool way of programming, because everything kind of a little bit auto documents itself, because you're forced to write very specifically what each function does. And it also forces you to use this very simple functions. And also, like, in order to do like these pipes or compose, it forces us to do functions that only do very simple things, and makes it forces me to think in a very cool little way. I think that probably, like, if I just untangle this a little bit, the code that I would have arrived with, the components, might have ended up being like a lot easier to deal with. Doruk asked empty pixelated if carrying equals 0.3, and empty pixelated points out not necessarily, but it's a little bit on that note, because it lacks points. Piping and composing are important aspects of point-free programming, but if you're interested in reading about point-free programming, you should check Google that and check that out. And we are incredibly over time, but I'm really happy where we ended up. I hope that this was useful to you, and that you had some fun. And I certainly did. This was super fun. Like, it's always so cool when people help out in the chat. With all that said, goodbye. Have a great week. I hope that it's gonna be great for you. I'm gonna go home and eat some food. Bye.